Pose, 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 I do adore. Pose, 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 I do adore. Man, I haven't done that in a while, but we are back with the AP poll for women's college basketball for week 14. We've seen some movement up in here, and that is because USC went down yesterday, and they have moved down in the rankings. Though I would have figured they would have been dropped further down than what they were, but we'll get into it. Let's talk about the top 25 poll for week 14. All right, and we begin with the number one team in the country that still stays on top, and it is UCLA. Now, UCLA is 21-0 on the season. They've been really good. They do have a tough game, I would say, against Ohio State later this week, which I think could be kind of a challenge because, Ohio State can pick and choose when they want to show up and really dominate. But other than that, I don't really see UCLA losing anytime soon. I think the combination of players they have, like Kiki Rice, Lauren Betts, bringing in a London Jones to come in and shoot some threes. I think just overall, this is a really, really good team. And Corey Close has been continuing to do her job as the head coach and just sort of making adjustments during games when stuff is happening, to avoid UCLA, as of right now, getting got. I mean, there's still time. There is still time for UCLA to get got. We are not done with the season. They are in Big Ten play, and they do have a couple of pretty good games upcoming. We do see a game again against Ohio State later this week. We will see them take on USC on February the 13th, and so that'll be another game for you all to watch out for. They actually play USC twice, so they play them on the 13th of February, and they also play them on March the 1st. So, maybe UCLA gets got, but, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they go through the rest of the season without losing a game, and they enter in the tournament undefeated. But we'll see. We'll ultimately see how it goes from here. All right, from one number one to a number two that basically is a number one, it is the South Carolina Gamecocks. They are 21-1 on the season. That one loss was earlier in the season against UCLA. So, I don't see South Carolina losing anytime soon, right? They are just, kicking butt and taking names. They're just killing it. 70-game win streak at home when it comes to South Carolina. This is the largest and longest win streak in SEC history. So, that's pretty cool. I mean, what can you say about South Carolina? Their bench does it every single time. And also, Joyce Edwards continues to impress me and be basically the best player on the team. It's just crazy how the person who looks the most impressive semi-consistently for South Carolina has been a freshman who doesn't even start. She comes off the bench. I'm just saying. Imagine 2 years, 3 years down the line. Oh, Joyce Edwards is already there, but can't wait to see her continue to grow. All right, number 3, we got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and they are 19-2 on the season. I mean, here's the thing about Notre Dame. Notre Dame, when you have a healthy Hannah Hidalgo and a healthy Olivia Miles, I mean, it's just a cheat code. It is just a cheat code. Those two players, they get close to 50 points a game consistently. Just them two alone, right? I love to see it. They had a massive, very, very close game against Louisville. We will see Notre Dame play NC State later in February. I think that'll be the most challenging game that's upcoming. Well, NC State and Duke. They play Duke actually first on February the 17th, and then after that they play NC State. I think those are two games that are probably going to be the toughest for Notre Dame going forward. But again, Olivia Miles, Hannah Hidalgo, just highlight reels galore. And you got Leah Tu King, who's been making some noise as well. Again, Leah Tu King, her points is not the same as they used to be when she was with Pitt. But other than that, we've seen her do her thing, right? We have seen her do her thing. And I enjoy just the little things she do. From the rebounds, but also just on the spacing that she has on the court, and how she's able to come up with some clutch buckets. They needed every single one of her 16 points yesterday for Leah Tu King, and I just, it's just fun to watch. It's just really, really fun to watch Notre Dame play. You want to watch some really good basketball, just watch Notre Dame. You want to watch some fun, flashy basketball, watch Notre Dame. It's fun to watch. Anyway, next up, number 4, we got the Texas Longhorns. They are 22-2 on the season. Last week they were number 5. Now they moved up because of USC's loss. Texas is continuing to do their thing. Again, this is their first year back in the SEC. And so they're rocking and rolling. we'll continue to see how stuff goes from here. But they're playing some pretty good games. We will see a rematch between South Carolina and Texas next Sunday. And guys, that's going to be the real test for me, because we saw that first time Texas matched up against South Carolina, and it was like, man, Texas seemed like they kind of forgot how to play a little bit. and so I'm hoping that we will see a better Madison Booker than the first time we saw when Texas played South Carolina. I do think we'll see a better game. Like, Vic Schaefer got into them, and I'm sure we'll see a better game. But that's definitely should be on your radar on Sunday. This upcoming Sunday at 1 p.m. Central Time on ESPN, we will see Texas take on South Carolina. Will Texas take down South Carolina? No, but in my opinion, at least. But who knows? Anybody can get got. But I do anticipate this game to be a whole lot better overall of a game than that first matchup against South Carolina. All right, moving on to number 5, we got UConn, who again moved up one spot from last week, again because of USC's loss. I mean, UConn is UConn. They're kicking butt and taking names in the Big East, because of course it's the Big East and UConn is the top dogs. However, every year we see UConn play non-conference games during conference play, and this year they played Tennessee and South Carolina. So the game against Tennessee is happening this Thursday on ESPN. That should be a fun game. And also the South Carolina game is happening on 2 Sundays from now on February the 16th. That game is actually going to be on ABC, which is kind of cool. But I think those are the 2 challenging games for UConn. Other than that, they should breeze by the Big East. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But the game against Tennessee and the game against South Carolina, I think, are really good proving grounds for UConn coming up. All right, from the Big East going to the SEC, we have LSU. And they moved up as well, again because of USC dropping down. I mean, LSU's been fine. Like, they've been making some stuff happen. Anissa Morrow continues to get doubles left and right. We saw LSU just take down Mississippi State yesterday. They do have some pretty important upcoming games, including Tennessee and Texas. And so I'm very, very curious to see what happens in that game, because it's another marker of how good LSU actually is, right? I think that'll be another marker to just really tell where they are. All right, number 7, we got USC. So USC, they moved down only 3 spots, which I am surprised by. You lose to a unranked team in Iowa yesterday, and you lose so as badly as you did. The final score was close, right? It was not a blowout. However, the way that USC played and the lack of adjustments they had in the entire game was ridiculous. Yes, they only lose by 13 points, but at the same time, it was the way they lost, which was kind of crazy. So they're 19-2 on the season, lose to unranked team. I'm surprised they only dropped 3 points. I think they probably should have been at that 9 spot personally, but that's where they are right now. We'll continue to see how USC plays. They do have a game against Ohio State, which is right after them at number 8. But they do play Ohio State this upcoming Saturday, and I think that's going to be a really interesting game to watch, just to see how they play against Ohio State. Ohio State is a good defensive team, and so if they're swarming Juju, Lindsey Gottlieb, are you going to make some adjustments? Are you going to make some adjustments to get other players involved? Is Kennedy Smith actually going to be able to stay out of foul trouble? There's some questions that I have for USC, and I'm interested to see how they start to answer them on Saturday. And then next week, they play UCLA, which, they're going to lose against UCLA. But anyway, let's continue on. Let's continue on to the Ohio State in the Big Ten. Ohio State is 20-1 on the season. I mean, the Buckeyes are doing the thing. They do have a rough stretch up ahead in Big Ten play, because they are playing the California teams back-to-back. They first play UCLA on Saturday, and then they play USC they play UCLA on Wednesday, and they play USC on Saturday. So I really want to see how they end up making that happen. Cody McMahon hopefully will step up big time in both of those games. But Ohio State, they got some work cut out for them. So we'll ultimately see what happens on that front. All right, next up we have TCU. TCU, yeah, y'all. Here's the thing. TCU had a game yesterday where Sedona Prince finishes the game fouled out with 0 points. You heard me right. TCU found a way to win with Sedona Prince, their number one post player. I would say the second best player on their team. Goose egg, nada, no points at all. Five fouls, 0 points. Wild. And they still won. Now, granted, they beat Iowa State, and like Iowa State is not like that good, right? They've kind of gone on a sophomore skid of sorts. But like this was a game where Addie Brown and Audie Crooks was killing, right, for Iowa State. But even with that happening, we saw TCU be able to step up and step out, including Haley Van Lith, who, guys, Haley has probably won the transfer portal because the decision to leave LSU and go over to TCU has been so good because we are seeing a better passer in Haley Van Lith, a better scorer in terms of her deciding when to shoot. Of course, still not crazy efficient. Of course, yes, she does have times where she's just like missing a whole bunch of shots back to back, but overall, her game is so much better, and it just makes the best of the rest of her team, right? I love to see it. You know, Taylor Bigby had some big 3-pointers yesterday to help get that dub over Iowa State. And again, Iowa State is not the best team in the world, right? They're not a ranked team. However, I thought that was a really good game for TCU to have your big woman down low in foul trouble the entire game, not really make an impact on the offensive end, and you still get the dub. So I would say that was a big game for sure. We do see them play K-State later this week, and so that'll be a game that is definitely on my focus radar. All right, next up we have Duke at number 10. Duke is 17-4 on the season. I mean, Duke is, they're doing their thing in the ACC. We saw a really good game yesterday against Georgia Tech. It was a very close game between Duke and Georgia Tech. Ultimately, Duke was able to pull out the dub. They do have some challenging games upcoming as they finish out SEC play against NC State, against Notre Dame, and so question mark is out in terms of how Duke does against those teams in particular. All right, next up we got Kentucky. Earlier today, I did put out a video about Georgia Amore with Kentucky because I think she's been doing her thing this year. Really good decision to transfer. I think I had some question marks about her coming into SEC play, but I think she's answering it, man. Georgia Amore and the Kentucky Wildcats are doing their thing, 19-2 on the season so far. Got a big win yesterday against Oklahoma. Still have some games that they got to prove themselves in, right? Coming up. They do play Texas. They do play LSU. They do play Tennessee and South Carolina coming up as they wrap up the SEC play. And so those are some huge question marks in not about necessarily winning those games, but about how exactly they compete in those games. But right now, they're cruising along. All right, at number 12, we have Kansas State. K-State is continuing to do their thing as well. They are 21-2 on the season. I mean, K-State's rocking out in the Big 12. No real worries for them just yet. Besides that, like surprise-ish loss against Colorado, they're doing pretty good. They do have a game against TCU and Oklahoma State upcoming, and so those are some games that should be on your radar. But other than that, shout out to K-State. They making it happen. They are making it happen. Ayoka Lee is continuing to play well. I think she's trying to do whatever she can to help her draft stock, right? She's trying to work on her efficiency a lot more. She's very, very efficient from the field, but like trying to get a little bit better on that front because right now there's still a lot of question marks in terms of where exactly she will land in the WNBA draft, and her play in the Big 12 is definitely going to help lead to some answers from some GMs for sure. All right, number 13, we got North Carolina. They are 20-4 on the season, and for North Carolina, they're rocking out. They're doing their thing. The Tar Heels did have a big, narrow win against Stanford. And hey, let's just see ultimately what they're able to do from here. Like that was a very close game. A game that honestly probably shouldn't have been as close as it was. But like again, shout out to Stanford for almost giving North Carolina the business. All right, next up we have NC State from North Carolina to North Carolina State. The Wolfpack are continuing to do their thing, 17-4 on the season. They do have a game tonight that is must-see TV. Must-see TV on ESPN tonight at 7 p.m. You can watch the Wolfpack take on Duke. Big game, big game, big game. So make sure to watch that tonight. All right, number 15, we got Oklahoma, who drops 2 spots. They did lose yesterday against Kentucky. They are 16-6 on the season. I mean, here's the thing about Oklahoma. Oklahoma is a team that, at least at first, it felt like they won the transfer lottery when they got Reagan Beers. But honestly, guys, like I don't think Reagan Beers fits with this team. Like I think Reagan needs a slower paced offense. Yes, sure, sometimes she can get some points in, but like overall, I just don't really like her at Oklahoma. It's just a pace thing. I just feel like she would operate better in a slightly slower paced offense. But yeah, what do y'all think about Reagan Beers? Am I just weird, or like do y'all also think that she just doesn't fit really with with the style of play that Oklahoma has? I don't know. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments about that. Anyway, Oklahoma is, they're down. We'll see. They do have a big game against Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a team that, they can surprise you because they are a very, very good defensive team. And so, like, are they going to be able to stop the okay? I was about to say OKC. Are they going to be able to stop Oklahoma's 3-point shooters? I think so. And so the question is like, okay, well, what happens? What happens after that? For the game against Ole Miss. All right, number 16. Number 16, we have Maryland, who has been on a downward skid a little bit, 17-5 on the season. And the reason why they dropped 2 spots from 14 to number 16 is because yesterday they got. Because again, as I always say, anybody can get got. It doesn't matter who you are. And yesterday, Maryland got and lost to Illinois. Shout out to the Fighting Illini, man. The Fighting Illini, Genesis Bryant, fire. Let's go, Illinois. Got the dub over Maryland. And we'll see how Maryland is able to sort of regroup and move from there. Like, again, anybody can get got. It doesn't matter who you are. And yesterday, there was a whole bunch of teams getting got, including Maryland. Maryland does have a game against Oregon later this week, which I think they should win, but we'll kind of see. I mean, they already lost one game. We'll kind of see how they go from here. All right, next up, we have Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, the Yellow Jackets are doing their thing. They just, again, got that big win this past week. Moved up 3 spots from last week to this week, and we'll kind of continue to see how they go. Had a win against Miami. They do play SMU on Thursday, but the big game that you all should watch out for is actually a three game spot for Georgia Tech as they play back to back NC State, Florida State, and Cal. So that's going to be an interesting gauntlet for Georgia Tech to kind of see how they weather that storm. But I think they'll probably at least try to get 2 out of the 3 wins in that 3 game. All right, next up, number 18, we got West Virginia. Something to the place. Something. Anyway, the Mountaineers are continuing to do their thing. They have moved up 3 spots from this past week, 17-4 on the season. They did get a big win this past weekend against Oklahoma State. I keep wanting to say OKC. They did get a big win against Oklahoma State. And y'all, JJ Kennerly continues to lead this team, continues to improve her draft stock as time goes on. Some really good wins from West Virginia, though that loss to Arizona was pretty bad. Not a very good loss. But other than that, like they're doing fine. They're doing fine. All right, number 19, we have the Tennessee Lady Vols, 16-5 on the season. Not much to say about them other than they probably are about to get killed against UConn on Thursday. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I would love an upset because, as y'all know, I love upsets. But we'll see. All right, next up, we have Michigan State at number 20, 18-4 on the season. Michigan State's been cool, but to be fully transparent, guys, I haven't really been watching that many Michigan State games to really be able to have a real opinion. Like I didn't watch. They played on Sunday against Northwestern. They also they also lost. Actually, I should say against Oregon last week. I didn't watch those games, so I can't really give that much commentary about Michigan State. But yeah, they're on a 4 game down, or they're down 4 points from last week. We'll kind of see how they try to finish out Big Ten play. All right, next up for number 21, we got the Cal Golden Bears. Golden Bears are, kind of trying to stay firm a little bit. They are 9-4 on the season. 19-4, I should say, on the season. got a big game against Louisville later this week, and so that's something that will definitely be on my radar. And then I didn't actually watch the game against Pitt that they had yesterday, but they did take down Pitt pretty decisively in that win. All right, we got Florida State. We got the team that I personally enjoy to watch. I personally enjoy really talking about because, y'all, this is the team with Taniyah Latson, the player who really should be in the running for Player of the Year, but does not get the respect that she deserves. Taniyah Latson, once again, has a 20-plus point game, 25 points yesterday as they took down Wake Forest. And, Florida State's continue to do their thing. They're a team that likes to score a lot of points, right? They like to score. Both at the 3-point line and sort of in the paint as well. They do make it happen again. So shout out to Florida State. They're continuing to do their thing. They got some tough road ahead in the ACC, especially as they in ACC play. They have to face Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, and Duke to finish out their year, which is going to be a rough stretch. But we'll see. We'll ultimately see what Florida State is able to make happen. Number 23, we got Alabama, 18-5 on the season. They did move down. Or they're basically right where they were before. 18-5 again. They're doing fine. they are doing just fine. We'll continue to watch their games. Again, we all know that they end up losing against Kentucky. I feel like I may have mentioned that in my last video, but anyway, they lost to Kentucky this past week, but they did get a good dub against UGA, and so yeah, we'll continue to see how they kind of play. The game against Tennessee, definitely a game to watch, and also they play LSU and Oklahoma to finish out the year or the season. Then we got Vandy, y'all. Vandy. Okay, here's the thing. I have been wanting for a while to make a video about Michaela Blake. Michaela Blake is a freshman who is just kicking butt and taking names left and freaking right. Against Florida last week, y'all, she had 53 points, right? The game before that, she had 33 points. She continues to show up and show out. One of the best freshmen in the country. And I have not made a video about her, which is very, very annoying. I need to, but I've just been busy, so I haven't been able to yet. But a video about Michaela Blake, who she is, where she has come from, and why in the world she is putting players on the back foot. They're hey, you got to watch out when it comes to 5'8" Michaela Blake. So she can shoot the three. Okay. All right. Now we finish up talking about the Cowgirls of Oklahoma State. They are 18-4 on the season. And let's get to some of the other teams that receive votes. We got Creighton, Baylor, Illinois, Utah, Mississippi, Michigan, Minnesota, South Dakota, Harvard, Columbia, and Richmond. Now, it is kind of wild. Personally, I find it kind of wild that even after we see Iowa take down USC, Iowa did not even receive a vote. Iowa did not even receive a vote, which is crazy. Absolutely insane, guys. Now, yes, partly the reason why they beat USC was because of, Caitlin's jersey retirement. They were all amped up for that. But at the same time, they put on a show. Coaching-wise, strategy-wise, the adjustments that they were making throughout, they put on a defensive clinic. They just did their thing. And for them not to receive any votes at all, wild. But, we move. Anyway, guys, thank y'all for watching. If y'all could, make sure to hit that like button. And if you appreciate me being back with these AP Top 25s, let me know. As we reach towards the end of the year, I'm going to get back to doing these every single week just so you all can know what is happening. But again, guys, you got to love it. You got to love it, man. We're going to see more and more teams getting got because who doesn't like getting got? Seriously, no one likes getting got. We like to talk about other people getting got because we are almost in getting got season, which is the NCAA tournament. So get ready, buckle up, and let's go. I'll see you on the next one. Till next time, bye-bye.